Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting Masterverse review, and this time a new Eternia Masterverse review. That's right. Excited to introduce Faker to you today. This is an exciting action figure because we got that first Faker that was Revelation series inspired, Netflix series inspired, but here we have more our traditional blue tone skin that we were kind of missing and wondering about. And there's quite a cult following behind Faker. There's even a fan-made movie or episode that tried to come out so that we could see it. I never got to see all of it. I saw clips of it with this kind of version of Faker created by Skeletor. And in my multiverse, I'm going to go with the idea that Skeletor teams up not only with Triclops and his science minions, but also Hordak and his science minions, none other than Modulok. So we're going to go over here and check these guys out inside of the Fright Zone where Skeletor has met up with Hordak to create Faker. And we have that awesome looking bookend artwork there, which is so cool. And of course, that awesome artwork on the back with the other selling points. And we have gone over our Buzz Off and our Grizzlor. Check them out. And we'll be looking at Merman soon with a breakdown of Wave 9. But this guy is awesome looking. And here is Faker's bio. If you'd like to pause and read that now, you can. So let's go ahead and bring him on over into the Fright Zone and check him out. And here we are in the Fright Zone where Hordak and Skeletor have partnered together to create, with the help of Triclops and Modulok and other scientists that work in these evil borders, we have the creation of the new Eternia, Faker. And now, let's look at Faker's accessories. And first, taking a look at Faker's hands, he does come with a left open palm hand, as you see there, as well as a right balled up fisted hand. He comes equipped with two horizontally hinged weapon holding hands. Do kind of wish we had gotten the 40th anniversary He-Man body here that had that bigger chest and the bigger hands with the vertical hinge right weapon holding hand with that larger pegs that pegged in, but we did not get that body yet again here, but he is looking really cool. He also came with a battle axe that has some silver wash to it, and you can kind of see that silver in this orange, traditional Faker type orange look. My lighting is not showing as well that silver wash as much. There we go. You can kind of start seeing it there. And then you see one side of this double-edged power axe or battle axe has actually the mechanics kind of bleeding through or revealed, kind of like part of it has been broken off and you're seeing it underneath. So that is really cool. And then something really spectacular is we have a power sword that looks like it's been constructed or put together with a hodgepodge of pieces of sheet metal or metal pieces, even with some of the silver kind of bleeding through as if it's been rubbed off or scarred off through battle. And you even have that garter around the hilt, the handle there, like we saw in the vintage swords, which is a neat little nod to the 80s vintage again there. And just a neat looking power sword that has been kind of put together there, and has that new Eternia flair as far as the way the crossbar and hilt look, but that is very unique. And there's some other secrets going on with this guy that we'll look at, because you can remove that harness. It kind of looks fuchsia or pink in this lighting, but it really is kind of a dark purple when it's not under my red lighting here. but does have a little bit of a fuchsia hint to it, but it is a little bit darker. But I still may put more of a black wash on it eventually. But we got a really nice harness chest armor here that kind of looks more like the Skeletor, you know, look than the He-Man look. But we'll be trying on some of those other harnesses in a little bit here. But first, let's take a look at Faker's Articulation. All right, taking a look at our Faker a little closer up here. Let's go ahead and move him on in here and just get a gander at just how amazing he is looking. Just like this overall look of this character, you can see that he has a place to store the sword on his back, or you could put the axe back there as well. And you can see even in this lighting some of that silver wash on the axe a little better, kind of gleaming off of there, which I think is a neat touch. We do have a better designed and better quality harness than we got with the first Faker. Now I'm going to be bringing in this in comparisons in a moment, but this is the one that we got with the other Faker that was the Revelation Faker, and I did paint the circle in the middle blue, and I gave it a little bit of a black wash, which is hard to tell again in these bright lights, but I did, and we'll try that on in the orange one in just a moment, as well as the He-Man armor. But first of all, let's go ahead and take a look at Faker's Articulation. Starting with his head here, he is going to be able to look up about that much. He's going to be able to look down pretty much all the way there. He's going to be able to get some, maybe just a little bit of head pivot, not a whole lot to speak of here. Of course, he'll be able to turn side to side, and that is, you know, fairly expected, fairly common with these particular Masterverse figures. He'll be able to get full 360. Those tassels on the shoulders will move out of the way. He will get bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, swivel and hinges at the wrist. And of course, he will go up at least 90 degrees there. His diaphragm, he will crunch forward about that much. He will bend back a good amount as well. And he does get excellent side-to-side motion. So you're going to be able to get the full hula hoop there. And again, they have improved, I believe in Wave 9, the articulation at the diaphragm, where he will swivel very smooth and fluidly, and also at the waist. So that is good. He gets full splits when it comes to the legs, thigh swivel as usual, double jointed knees as we've seen. He also gets boot swivel, full tiptoes, goes up all the way, generous rockers with the peg hole in the bottom, so he gets your typical Masterverse articulation, and he's looking fabulous. And I would dare say also here that there's another hidden jewel that we'll look at as far as details, and that is he has his computerized panel on his chest, just like we have seen in the vintage. Of course, it was a sticker back then. It was, I believe, painted on in the classics, but guess what? It's actually molded in. You can tell that there is a awesome molded in control panel. Still looks like the 80s style computerized flair there, but that is really cool that you get the molded in chest panel this time for this guy. And you see his buck there. It's that traditional buck that we've seen, but he does have, as you see, some computerized details on his back, as well as like a bolted in shoulder on either side, showing some of those details. So that is really neat that, you know, there's some of these details there after you remove the harness. But now let's go ahead and do some other, I'm going to call it comparisons here. But before we compare actual action figures, we're going to first look at this guy with some different accessories. Closer look at him with some of the other stuff that came with the other Faker and some of the other inspirations that could be done. I even gave, since I had a second faker, I even gave the second head that I got a little bit of an orange wash. And we're going to try them on with that other harness as well. So we'll be right back. And here is the original new Eternia faker, all decked out with his sword in his sheath on his back, his original harness, his original head, and his battle axe there. Everything together. And then here we have him donning his first predecessor, which is the Revelation in the Masterverse anyway line. The Revelation faker, the one that had like the skin tone with it ripped off with the metal underneath. And we'll look at him in comparisons here in a moment. But there is his harness. And you can tell right away that it doesn't cover the control panel as well as this one does. This is definitely a better quality, and it goes back to what I've said. I believe Masterverse is improving with every wave. They have definitely given us a better quality harness, battle armor, chest armor here versus this one. The bones are so tiny and just real thin. Again, I did paint that blue, metallic blue dot in the middle just to give it some flair, and also gave it a black wash, just a light black wash. But I also gave his head a little bit of an orange wash, just a little bit of an orange wash. And I'll show you in better lighting here. And there you can see I have the original on the left there. You can see it's more of a brownish color, whereas this is the one I gave a little bit of an orange wash to. And you can tell slightly that there is more orange in that, so you can tell there the difference. But there they are together. You can see, you know, that combination. Prefer him to have the orange. You can put that on him there, or you can have his more purple Skeletor looking harness on as well there. So either way you'd prefer to do it. All right, now I want us to go back and look at this faker with the He-Man harness on, like came with the first Revelation faker. Let's check that out now. And there he is. You can see that the He-Man, Revelation He-Man chest armor does cover up the control panel all the way, and it does fit on him. And there he is raising his fake power sword aloft. But you could certainly make that happen if you would prefer using He-Man's battle or chest armor on there to make him look a little bit more like He-Man. But I'm really liking the face sculpt on this new Eternia faker. I think that is really well done, and there's just so many different options here. But now let's do some action figure comparisons. And now to look at some comparisons. First, let's take a look at our fakers. The first one here, the Revelation faker that we got, that was based on the Netflix series. And then here is the one that we have reviewed today, and you see them next to each other, pretty much the same body mold, where except for we have a much improved head sculpt. Look how little that head is compared to this head, and just the quality and the detail and the realism. I would even say the cheekbones and the wash, just the overall look of that head sculpt is a lot better to me than that one. But it is nice to have gotten that head sculpt with the I guess you'd say like the mechanics of the head showing here, like we had with the Revelation. We did not get a second head sculpt with those mechanics, kind of like his face partially ripped off almost, which we'll see that also in the classics here in just a moment. But there they are next to each other, and there's the harness again that came with this one, so you could put that orange harness on your Revelation one. But instead here I have given it a black wash, painted that circle metallic blue, and strapped it on my second faker because I really like that orange on him. I think that looks good, and I just prefer that over the pink purple personally. But there again, this is a better harness that is on the new one. So, you know, to each their own, but that's going to be one of the ways I display him, since I've got a second one. as well as his original New Eternia form. And then there is his Faker form in the Revelation series. And you see they were going more with a look of He-Man. He even had the longer harness on his left arm. And these have the black bracers that are similar to He-Man's right arm there. But here you see the flesh has been melted off this robotic Faker, so that you see basically what they're showing here is you're seeing more or less the metal mechanics underneath the body, whereas here we saw that you have a blue tint body with some mechanics like the bolted in arms that we saw, and even the control panel under the chest plate. So there we have a comparison of these Fakers. Now let's look at the Classics Fakers next to this new one. And here on the right you have your Mattel Classics Faker, which really nice detailed armor, and kind of had a silverish trim to his longer gauntlet on his left and right shorter gauntlet, and even the belt there. And then you see he also came with that mechanic, like the mechanics of the face, where his face is ripped off. You see the mechanics going on from that Classics He-Man head, Faker head here, and more of an orange to the hair as well. Still has the purple boots in common here, and even the furry loincloth in common. You even have some scarring, if you look in the light, some scarring on his belt, New Eternia belt, with a little bit of silver coming through there as well, kind of like we had on this one. But then you had Super 7's Ultimate Faker, which came with the Classics head, but also the vintage inspired head, which I have on him here, as well as that nice chest armor. But he had black gauntlets and black belt, no silver trim. Still the rest pretty much the same. And the orange hair is definitely more orange than in the New Eternia Faker. So you see those, and you see the height difference. Definitely Masterverse figure here is taller than the Classics. And to look at some weapon differences, we've seen the weapons that came with our New Eternia Faker, but our Revelation Faker came with like the Revelation Power Sword with just an orange hilt. Then our Classics Faker came with a Classics Power Sword with the orange hilt and kind of a shimmery orange tint on the blade. And then the Revelation Faker came with the basic He-Man shield, because it already had the orange there. And then our Classics Faker came with this Classics battle axe with the orange and some metallic trim. And then I made out of a Mythic Legion shield a Faker. Since I did not get a Classics Faker shield with mine, I went ahead and painted this orange and made my own. So there you have some other comparisons among weaponry. But just take a look at that battle axe next to that battle axe. I like the little details that they gave in the Masterverse. They really are going the extra mile to give us something different, but also I think a quality product in these Masterverse figures. And here is all of the Fakers that I have. I've got the New Eternia one with an orange harness chest armor going on there, with his new Mod Podge created looking power sword. There's the Ultimate Faker from Super 7. There's our New Eternia Faker as he's intended to look, with everything he's got there going on. Still love that face sculpt and that battle axe. That's so cool. And then there's our Mattel Classics Faker with the exposed gears in his face going on there. And then finally our Revelation Faker with the flesh ripped off and some of his face mechanics showing. So there you have all of them right side by side, looking awesome. So you have a lot of options, and there's other collectors that even have done customs and even have more options for Faker. Really love some of their ingenuity and creativity as well. They've just, like I said, there's almost like a cult following to Faker in general. A lot of neat ideas with him, both in backstory and storyline, but I really enjoy Faker. And here is our new Eternia Faker next to some of my He-Man. And there is the Revelation He-Man. I did do some paint apps on his harness and his belt and gauntlets there to give a little bit of more of a shine of realism. Just didn't like that plain yellow belt that he came with. But there is the 40th anniversary He-Man, which I think this Faker head and this 40th anniversary He-Man head, it always look like they're more inspired for each other. You have a friendly look there, and then you have more of an evil with the whited out eyes look there. But I can see almost how that face is more inspired by, I would say, this face pretty much. Then there is my 40th anniversary He-Man with Classics vintage inspired head snapped onto that San Diego Comic-Con 2-pack with the He-Man with those more metallic harness and the real metal weapons, furry loincloth and all that good stuff. So, and then also I have another Revelation He-Man body with some of the paint apps, but that is a Hordak MX head sculpt from Hordak MX. So you can kind of see that almost looks like it was inspired by that head as well a little bit more. So I would say the 40th anniversary He-Man head and even this Hordak MX head favor this Faker evil head more than the Revelation one or the vintage one. All right. And here is our Faker next to Hordak and the Wave 9 Grizzlord to go along with this Faker. And there's the Faker that I've kind of put together with more of an orange wash to his hair, and then using the Revelation orange chest armor. And then I prefer, even more than the new Eternia Skeletor, I personally like, I was able to get the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive 2-pack of He-Man and Skeletor with the metal weapons and then his articulated jaw. I like this Skeletor. I just think he is so quality built and looks nice. His harness is even better made than our new Faker, new Eternia Faker's harness, but still looking good with all of these, just really nice looking. And so again, thank you for joining us for the Super Day review. Please like if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe if you've not done so yet, and comment if you have something to say, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on another Super Day review. Please enjoy these photos in the photo gallery. Be blessed.